Greetings. This is Arvette McLean with Speak, The Universe Listens. New ways to view age-old challenges. Change your thoughts, change your life. Step into the bigness of you.
Hey guys.
Hey.
So, a long time ago, I went to Mammoth Cave, and that's the largest cave system. It's at least in the United States. It might be, I don't know if it's the largest one in the world, but anyway, it's the largest cave system. And so that's when I first became aware that the animals that live in the cave, they don't have eyes. So like the fish in the cave, they don't have eyes. And I was just like, that kind of blew my mind.
Right.
Because I know they don't need to see, they can't see anyway, so what do they need eyes for? But I think I would have thought that they would have eyes that didn't work or that they didn't use, but not that they just don't have eyes or whatever. And so I always thought that was really, really interesting. But I think I was thinking about it from an evolutionary perspective. But I recently came across something that Michael Beckwith was saying, and he was like, we don't have eyes. No, we can't see because we have eyes. We have eyes because we can see. We don't hear because we have ears. We have ears because we can hear. So I guess I'll throw that out to you guys. Like, what does that mean to you, and how can you relate this into your life? Is that an important distinction to make?
Yeah, for me, instantly as you saying it, I automatically think of the phrase "walk by faith and not by sight." For some reason, that's coming to me. Because if I believe, then I don't necessarily have to see it. So yeah, that can't come to mind.
I would say I like that saying because I've experienced it a lot of times in life, as to where I was so used to hearing the phrase "you got to see it to believe it," and now I'm more so, you got to believe it and you'll see it. So I can totally relate to it because I experience it every day, and I try to keep that knowing, that awareness with me along my journey. So
yeah, and I like that too, because it kind of just reminds me that so it's always interesting. Like, I don't have eyes so I can see. I can't see because I have eyes. I have eyes because I can see. So it's almost like always knowing that the sensation and the emotion always leads whatever the action is. So it's almost like, first I think, all right, I'm looking at something because I opened my eyes and I looked at it. And it's like, no, I wanted to see that. And so as a result, my eyes portray that there is kind of how I started to take it. And so I just like that.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say, like a couple of years ago, or a few years ago, I was like looking for something. I can't even remember what I came across, but basically it's these schools across the nation, and across the world really, that teaches people how to read with their eyes closed. So they're teaching blind students how to read. They're teaching people like us how to read in blindfold. And like, I remember some of the demonstrations, like they would take people to the store and they're like totally blindfolded, and they're like, okay, pick out pick out the Cocoa Puffs. You know, like they're literally picking stuff off the shelf because they can see without seeing. And so it's like they're teaching you that you don't need your eyes to see. Like you can see from your spiritual self, you can hear from your spiritual being, and working from that place.
I think I know I had a moment in my life as to where I was literally like, my whole mindset was I was trying to move away from lack mentality, right? Because my whole environment as growing up, that's all I was so used to seeing. So now I'm out in the world, I'm experiencing life, and I remember being in the space as to where I didn't have, you know, my own place, you know, I didn't have my independence, didn't have a car, but at that time I was seeing it, like in my mind, I already knew how I felt, I already knew that I had it, you know, I could see me in my own place, I could see me, you know, having my own independence, but I wasn't physically there yet. And so when I, you know, eventually I got there, I looked and I'm like, just took a moment to sort of soak it in. I'm like, I already knew I was gonna be here. You know, there's no surprise to me. But I keep that in mind, even so as to where when I have a desire for something in my life, I know it's gonna happen for me. I picture it, I feel it, and if I can feel it, I try to keep the time away. I try not to think in time because I feel like that's gonna limit, you know, put me in a space of limitation. So, yeah, I keep that in mind because a lot of the times when I think about it, those moments that I have when I'm in that thought process, things just boom, they happen, and it's no surprise to me because I really didn't go off of the 3D because I was already placing myself in fifth dimension, if that makes sense.
And I'm sorry, I just think this topic is so important too because I do think that I spent so much of my life feeling like, all right, if I was going through something, I'd be like, you know, I just need a vacation. I used to always be like, well, if I need to go somewhere, I just need to actually physically go there. I think that this saying is a reminder to like, no, also, wherever I put my mind at and my inner being is also where I will be at. So like when I think about things like, I'm like, I used to always walk around and say a saying like, you know, you take you with you. And it's like, yeah, but like, what if I choose to take me other places as well, like my physical as well? Like, yes, you do take you with you, but you take your inner being and your higher self with you as well. So now I want to carry my higher self everywhere with me, and as a result, like, all right, you know, and I want to take a vacation, me and my higher self will just go to Barbados then. Or if I want to, you know, believe in something, then me and my higher self will just say, that's what it is, and that's what it is. So I like this.
Yeah, I like what you said about if you say that's what it is, and that's what it is. And it's kind of like that's what that saying is. It's like you have eyes because you can see, not the opposite. And so it's like we have everything flipped. Like we think we do this because of that. Like I have money, therefore I'm abundant. Where really is I'm abundant, therefore I have money. And you can do that with anything in your life. But we always look at we try to do it the reverse. It's like you trying to get money so that you can be abundant, but you have to be abundant first, and then that will come out of it. You have to see first, and then you will have eyes. You have to hear first, and then you will have ears. You have to be abundant first, and you will have money. You have to have a good relationship with self first, and then you will have a good relationship and we can just keep on going with that analogy.
I had to. I would say that's something that I constantly work on. You know, I constantly work on the believing, you know, and the feeling of what you just said, knowing and feeling like I'm already abundant because I used to chase, right? And at times, you know, I might fall back into that, you know, phase of my life. But for the most part, just having that in the back of my mind just reminds myself, like, all right, you don't need to be chasing, you know, just sit back, believe it, you know, and you feel it. And then when I'm actually feeling it, like I said before, it actually happens for me. So sometimes I need that reminder. You just gave me that.
Yeah, I actually think that that's a reminder that I need the most in life. Actually, is that that being that, you know, that the things outside of me don't cause my feelings, and that my feelings are causing the things outside of me. Like, that is, I like that we circle to that point so often, because that is often a reminder that I need, because it's so easy to get caught up in, like, well, this happened and that happened, and like, that can't be like me. And it's like, no, but like, take a step back and say, all right, well, what if it is me? And do I want to change it, one? And if I do want to change it, I don't need to figure out the why or the how. I just need to do it. Like, so it's always very powerful to just know that we create the things on the outside of us and not the things on the outside dictating what it is. And I think that saying drives that home even more. And the story about the fish, the fish in the cave with no eyes. Like, I think it's so easy to think like, oh, well, you know, that they just needed their eyes to be able to see, and like, how they eating without like eyes, like they need these things. And it's like, no, like, if they wanted to see their food that way, then they would evolve and grow eyes. But they felt comfortable doing it this way, and so that's the way that they're doing it. It's like it.
I look at it too, like, you can say, okay, I want this nice car, this Mercedes.
Right.
Every day you drive the same path to work, same path to get your kids, whatever you're doing, you don't never see the Mercedes. You never see them. We all experience like getting a car and then you seeing a million of these cars now. I think it's similar to that, to where once you believe, then next thing you know, on this same path to work every day to get your kids, now you're seeing Mercedes. Like, your mind open up, so now you can see.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that a lot.
Then also I would say too, like, listening, paying attention to what you're telling yourself internally, and then also, you know, externally. Because I noticed that I can sit back, you know how you might do something to you and it seems dumb, and you're like, you big dumb, why you do that? You know, and you're actually telling yourself that you stupid, but you know you not stupid, you know. And so I've learned to sort of like pay attention to what I'm saying to myself internally, because it's like sometimes I can just be talking to myself and my mind just be going all over the place, and I'm piecing things together, or I'm thinking like, well, why did this happen, or why, you know, why, right? And a lot of the times I think that we can sometimes allow our internal voice to sort of hinder us in a way, sort of put a little blockage in our way, because we're hearing what we're telling ourselves. It might be something that's not true, but just by you saying it or you thinking it, it can just sort of you can just get yourself in the way. If that makes sense. I was trying to bring.
Yeah, I think it creates a feeling.
There you go. Yeah.
I think that's a solid and amazing point too, because it brings me back to the exercise that we just did before we started. And then, like you said, you know, you get to caught and you might do something, you get to telling yourself all these things in your head, and that experience that we just had reminds me, and this podcast reminds me, like, you know, all those words do have meaning and like importance and feelings around them. And so, you know, I want to take more care of the things I'm even saying to myself in my head now, because it's so easy to get like, yeah, man, I don't know why you did that. You, like, it's so easy to put that self-doubt there instead of the self-acknowledgement and like the I don't know, pride, I guess. I think that is, yeah, I just think it's super important to also remind what you're telling yourself, because that inner voice is, some might say, and me being some, that the inner voice is your most truest version of yourself in most times. And so you want to always make sure that you're being true to your truest self, at least. Like, I don't want to tell my mind, like, oh, you just ain't gonna never get right. Like, cause what's this?
So really, like I hear and I feel what you guys are saying about paying attention to what you're telling yourself. But really, it's a remembrance of who you really are. Like, you don't have to really tell yourself anything at all. Just reminding yourself that, okay, yeah, that's your third dimensional self speaking. But I know who I really am. Like, I'm really all of that. I'm all of that. I'm all that. And just to remember, like, you know, you don't have to be like, oh, I'm smart and I'm, what is, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to say those things to yourself, because when you remember who you really are, that encompasses all of that. All of that. Like, we're all of that. Just powerful creators. Like, that's who we are. You know, it doesn't, if you feel like saying, oh yeah, and you know, I'm abundant and I'm this and I'm that, you know what I'm saying? You can say those things or whatever. But when you remember who you are, I mean, do you think God got to sit around and be like, yeah, I did that, didn't I?
I did that right there.
I'm smart. I'm the smartest one, you know, like, or whatever. Or like, yeah, I'm me, you know, I'm me, or whatever. But like, just tapping into that as frequently as possible, tapping into that remembrance as frequently as possible. Like, yeah, I know I'm this. I'm playing this role today. I got this suit on, but I'm really all of this. And just the more we can remember that, the more we'll be okay. And all of y'all kicked out the word believing today. And you know, you can believe something.
Just use the first two letters.
Okay, B, I like that.
You may turn into a rap on the couch on us.
I like that. Yes. So we can just be. We can be the thing. We are already it now. So I don't have to believe on anything. I'm it. I'm already it now.
I see you was rolling.
No, I'm like trying to make like a distinction. Because a lot of times I'll say certain things and then people will spit it back to me and they didn't say what I just said.
Okay, I see.
You know, and or they'll be like, this is the favorite thing that people will say to me. I be trying to be positive. I try that positive stuff and it don't work. And I'm like, I've never said anything about being positive. Like, that's not what I said. You know, unless you're positive that you're more than that. Like you can be positive about that, but I'm not saying sit around thinking positive, being positive. You know, I've never said that or whatever. But like sometimes I just feel like it's important to make distinctions. And I think I can't remember who, somebody had said something about I'm trying to basically stop telling myself bad things in so many words. And I had seen this nice visual the other day, and I was like, yes, this is perfect. I was just trying to explain this concept to someone just like that very same day that I saw the visual. But the visual that I saw on Instagram, I think, they had like a cup of like Pepsi Cola, like some type of dark liquid, and the little thing say, this is what healing is, or something like that. So they were pouring a water faucet of clear water was pouring into this dark solution, and so the water, I mean the solution was becoming clear, in other words. So it became totally clear, and it was like I'm putting good stuff in. I'm just putting in the good. I'm not trying to take out, you know what I'm saying? Like
right.
It wasn't a trying to take out the old or the part that wasn't what they wanted. They just put in what they wanted. And like a lot of times we do go into, I'm trying to get rid of this, and I'm trying to change this, and I'm trying to change that part of my life, and I'm trying to. And the more you're trying to do something, the more you're going to have to try to do it. But it's like you're creating resistance. You're giving, the more you're saying, I don't want to be that, you're basically saying, I'm that, I just don't want to be. And the more you're saying, I'm that, the more you're recreating that. So like instead of that, then you're going to just be what you want to be. Feel what you want to feel. Be it right now. So, but yeah, so I would encourage you all to really think about that saying. And I want to, like I said, I did research on it years ago, like trying to find the schools that would teach you how to read without seeing or whatever. But it was during the pandemic, and it was hard to find anything that was teaching it at that time. I did find one place, but anyway, that's a whole nother story. But to really think about it, I have eyes because I can see. I have ears because I can hear, not the reverse. So give that some thought. All right. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We look forward to chatting with you again next week. Until then, this is Arvet.
And it's Steve.
Teron.
Right.